What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Web3 Ready. We are here discussing cryptocurrency, digital assets, and the state of Web3. Let's get into it.
Web3 is changing the largest ticket seller in the world. Tesla, Elon Musk just changed Twitter logo.
What we're actually talking about.
Oh. Hello. Today we will be talking about ETFs, some reactions to the events that occurred yesterday. We'll be talking about our favorite friend in the government. Her name is Elizabeth Warren. Shout out to you, my dog. And we'll also be talking about the news piece that no one is talking about for God knows why, but ChatGPT released a store. Let's get into it.
Yeah.
Mark and Mark back at it.
Right. Yeah,
it's my favorite.
It's always fun when we get time to sit down and chat, and the holidays have gotten in the way of us hanging out and
I know
having our talk.
I forgot my coffee today, but I see you have yours.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, once again, I've got to match your energy. You just
I know. I got that Bitcoin ETF crack energy. I'm still off that, bro. It's crazy. Yeah. So today was a big day for the market. We saw 4.5 billion.
That's right.
Go into these spot ETFs, 50%, which went to a Grayscale, I believe.
Not entirely unsurprising. I mean, they're the one with the largest reputation. They got the green light to convert to an ETF.
Yeah.
And one of the few that didn't throw in some sort of, there was like a line that a lot of them had that I noticed that was pointed out by some of the naysayers that said that they're not legally bound on some of those funds to have one-to-one backing for Bitcoin. It's kind of a line that was in a lot of the gold ETFs that some of them took just because there's delays in fulfillment sometimes. And it's kind of a legal out, but as I understand it, GBDC didn't leave that in there because they've got their fulfillment kind of on lock. They've been doing that for a minute now. So
how does the market become affected by, all the volume? 50% of the volume went through one institution. How does that affect the market?
Well, it's gonna. This is where the street research is going to start becoming important.
Yeah,
because how it affects the market is how each fund fulfills their Bitcoin acquisition.
Yeah,
and how much they have in reserve and how much they're buying at spot. And then where they're buying at spot, are they leveraging using shorts and longs to disintermediate their impact on the market? These are a lot of things that will impact the spot price for the rest of us that deal directly with Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's interesting you bring that up. So I was on a Twitter Spaces last night talking about this very situation, and as much of a historic moment this is for Bitcoin, one could argue we have just totally centralized Bitcoin by doing this.
Yeah, I mean, like, a layer of it is now more centralized than it used to be, but it's a layer that wouldn't exist otherwise.
Yeah,
without the ETF. Like,
for sure,
if without the ETFs, there's a certain class of investor that's never going to enter.
Exactly. So what kind of implications do you think like this Bitcoin ETF has on cryptocurrency as a whole? Because obviously the institutions who got involved are the largest financial institutions of the world. So these guys know what they're doing. They have the resources, they have the capital. You mentioned some shorts, some longs. These kinds of strategies, the normal retail person who has been in crypto since 2009 is not privy to, right? Like the normal crypto investor is not.
Probably not. No.
Probably not.
Well, it doesn't need to be, right?
It doesn't need to be.
Like the most of us buy, 500 between some number between $25 and $5,000 at a time.
Yeah.
Like my average OTC client didn't exceed $7,000 or so in a single. That was considered a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Then you got those that were like the next level up that were, they'll buy $75,000 worth of Bitcoin twice a year.
Yeah.
Right. And then, so it's not even at $75,000, you don't have to worry about covering your position because you're not buying in enough volume to move the market significantly. But if you are an ETF, you're buying $10 million in a day or transacting $4 billion in a day, is absolutely enough to swing the market many points. I mean, obviously, look at what happened today. It went up $10,000.
Yeah.
It went between like 44 and 49.
Yeah.
throughout the day?
Yeah.
Absolutely enough to move the
It's a
market.
lot of money.
Yeah.
Every time I checked, I was down. So from yesterday.
Not financial advice.
Not financial advice. No, but it did reach a peak of 49,000 on I guess coin. You see the
yeah,
composite.
No. It broke 49,000 a day. Super hopeful it was going to break 50, but then something happened. Could you explain that event if you're aware of it?
I don't know. I was been in the studio for a good chunk of the day, so I missed out on some of the action up until.
It's so weird. Like you'll see the chart and it was all going up like this, and then you just said boop.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Probably just profit taking,
right?
I mean, like miners are in a position where they have to pay for electric.
Yeah, and they have to sell.
And they're a huge chunk of the market, supply. So if they see a day where they're taking 10% profit, I mean, that means they don't have to sell for the next 11 months, maybe,
Wow.
Because they're looking for their opportunities to sell.
That's incredible to think about. Like, I mean, I think Bitcoin rose up over 18% in less than 3 days. That is insane. That means in basically 5 days, if it went on that trajectory, you would make 100%.
It's nearly unprecedented.
Yeah.
At least in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
The most you typically see in a day in the last 5 years is like 6-7%.
So let me ask you this: like, why isn't the market just absolutely going bananas today? Why didn't the price go to 50,000 or 100K? You would assume with ETF issuers, the normal retail person is thinking, "Oh wow, today my bags will pump."
Walking out yesterday, I got the vibe from both of you that that's what was going to happen. So I'm curious to see this answer.
Well, I wasn't going to say that. I wouldn't have imagined it would have gone to 100K today.
No. I was exaggerating.
Like, it would certainly. I kind of expected it to break 50.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised it didn't break 50 today. I mean, it still might. I mean, it's a 24-hour market.
Yeah,
but so one of the things that I saw that came up was UBS and Vanguard were not allowing people within their self-managed things to buy any of the Bitcoin ETFs because it quote unquote didn't agree with their risk management strategies. And my guess is that it's not, even though it's publicly listed, it's not necessarily available
to everybody
on all platforms.
Yeah, and
they still have to be whitelisted,
right? And not to mention Bank of America too, which is one of the largest banks.
Right.
Yeah, it was an interesting day. I mean, I thought that the market was totally going to pump today. Like, I don't know. This chart is representing something that you and I mean, I've been busy all day too, so we're not aware of what happened, but something had to have happened that the chart looks like that. And I would assume also there are some big people taking profits.
That's the end of the trading day on the East Coast. So what happened is people that were retail, regular custodial traders. So, okay, this is the peak for the day, sell, and then,
and they sold,
buy at the bottom and wait for the next day of trading.
It's a good point. I was going to buy some coins yesterday and then ended up buying them this morning at a premium, unfortunately. But
yeah, because look at that. That's like that's basically
right.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow. Well,
I've looked at a few charts in my life. That's just me looking at the chart, guessing what happened.
Yeah.
But like if I had to put money on it, that's what I would say it is.
I don't think there was any like big event. I mean, I didn't see anything in the news that, signaled.
I mean, other than Elizabeth Warren's tweet.
Oh, my favorite lady. So this lady of ours that we love, she posted, or whatever she did, who knows what she does, she's so old and ugly. She posted that the SEC was wrong to approve Bitcoin ETFs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is just bizarre.
She made some weird comment about the courts too, right? Like I'm trying to pull it up. I know I retweeted it so I can get a hold of it real quick.
I mean, the problem is with that statement is there's no logic behind it.
The SEC Gov is wrong on the law and wrong on the policy with respect to the Bitcoin ETF decision. If the SEC is going to let crypto burrow even deeper into our financial system, then it's more urgent than ever that crypto follow basic anti-money laundering rules. So here's, like, once again, she's not a stupid lady. So you have to assume that she's just being intellectually disingenuous.
Yeah.
She's not. I mean, like, so she's saying that SEC is wrong in the law, but the courts literally had to compel the SEC to do what it did with the SEC with the ETF approval. So just off the rip, her tweet is a bald-faced lie.
Yeah. It's really scary to think that like she's in the government and she's voicing these kinds of opinions that have no logic or reason behind them. I mean, if the SEC did not approve of the ETFs, I mean, the courts were going to basically say that they were guilty of whatever they're guilty of. I don't even know what that is in law, but what a fucking stupid lady. I hate you, Elizabeth Warren. You are the reason crypto sucks.
So did you watch a little video I made about her?
Which one?
So it
Like
was
a while ago.
It was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I think so.
It was the one where basically I laid out all the parts of her lie. It's on the Merge channel. If you want to check it out, it's I think Elizabeth Warren's Anti-Crypto Army is the title of it or something.
Yeah, I remember that.
But her like she has been playing footsie with the truth for a long time, but like the last 3 months or so, her rhetoric is just a bald-faced lie at every turn.
Every turn.
And so it was like a 7 or 8 minute video that I just break down like every allegation. So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, can you click out of this full screen? I saw something there that can lead to our next discussion that I thought was super interesting. What is this ChatGPT for YouTube? Is that an extension?
Yeah.
I've never seen that. Can we please describe what this is to myself and the viewers?
Yeah, so it's basically someone stole Mark's transcription, but it does this.
Wow.
Chat loves its emojis.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is an extension?
I feel like when chat uses emojis, it's just flexing. Like, I'm a human. I know what humans do.
The funny part is watching the amount of content on social media that is now being made through ChatGPT and the little effort people go through to kind of change it and make it more human-like. I mean, this emoji thing that you bring up is a very prominent thing when you prompt the chat. Like, it will bring up emojis. It will constantly like have a certain tone and style in which it writes. And when you're scrolling content nowadays, like I can just tell, like once I read something, I know if it's from ChatGPT, I can tell.
Yeah. It's especially if they're not an experienced prompter. I mean, the number one tell is emojis for bullet points. If it's a summary, and if it's narrative, the prevarication that it does, because it's out of the box, it's so afraid to have an opinion.
Yeah.
And so it's like, well, on the one hand, but you all must also blah, 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 blah. And you go, okay, thank you for disclaiming, using a butter knife.
What I do like about extensions like this, what I found intriguing is its ability to reformat, or they're just thinking about reformatting it in a different, UI or whatever,
right?
Which is cool.
Well, this will lead into our next discussion, which is that ChatGPT by OpenAI has introduced a new store,
right?
And that store, surprisingly enough, I totally thought you would have to pay for these different versions of GPT, but they're actually free,
right?
And it's
in some cases, some of them are not.
Some of them are paid.
Well, you have they bolt into services that will require a membership on another site.
Oh, like for example, Canva. If you need pro features, it'll say,
or the Wolfram Alpha.
Okay, I didn't play around enough with it, but I do find it fascinating that they were able to do this, because I feel like there are just so many tools here, and ChatGPT alone is already a huge tool, but curating it specifically for different needs, for some needs I didn't even know the GPT was capable of. I mean, this is incredible, don't you think?
4 million custom GPTs have been created.
And well, I know that, but not 4 million are on the store.
no, but this is the response to that.
Yeah.
Because 4 million, because previously they were just shareable.
Right.
And so now so they're like, okay, well, if there's 4 million of these, to me, that's a shocking number for a feature that's been out for 2.5 months, a month and a half, something like that. I don't know.
4 million.
Yeah. Like
It's over 2 million a month.
Right.
Design personal logos from sketches. This is amazing. For a Zoomer Web3 degenerate crypto trader. Let's see. To start designing. Oh, what is this? What is this? Say you don't have a sketch.
There's one for when you don't have a sketch.
There is.
I was playing with
That's
it
so
earlier today.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've been through all of them already. Sorry, my
all 4
phone's-
million over
all
lunch.
4 million.
No. So what's interesting about this is they are positioning themselves literally to be the Apple of AI.
Yeah.
Which, and I mean that in every sense of the word, a controlled, very well refined user experience, but a controlled app store, a refined user experience, and highly centralized.
Yeah. I mean, they're doing a really good job at it. Gotta give them that.
I mean, they are, as much as we like to rip on Sam.
Yeah.
We talked about decentralized AI today, Mark and I.
Mhm.
Shut. What's your opinion there?
I mean,
I know
look,
you hate Web3, right?
look. I think decentralization as a concept is a very is a very good concept, and in practicality, if you can make it work, that's amazing. That would be the best possible solution, in my opinion. However, I know you're going to counter everything I'm about to say, but it doesn't matter. That's like pretty dog shit, but like that's cool that it made that. I'm not going to lie.
It's not horrible.
It's not horrible.
It looks like one of the graphics you'd see on like an ITT Tech University website.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%. But
which they pay good money for.
Those logos.
And we just got it for free.
Yep, there you go.
Hey, I pay $20 a month, Mark. You gonna pay me?
Do you pay that
free?
though?
I do.
Yeah. So what percentage of that $20 goes to this logo?
Probably good. I haven't been using it. School's not in session right now. So
okay. All right. So I got like
primary
$5.
use is to cheat at university. So
got it.
All right. Well, back to the decentralization question. I just think decentralization is not the most efficient method, and I have not personally used anything or experienced anything that has effectively been 100% decentralized and 100% efficient. Granted, like I do think if you are using these decentralized things, you have to have a passion for the fact that like of the whole ethos of it, because the UI and the UX does suck right now. But with that being said, like I do think that it's still a very realistic concept that can work. I mean, it obviously works for Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin is completely decentralized. I think that is a perfect example.
So yeah, so let's tie it all together today.
All right.
So here's how easy of a user experience was it for people who had an account with Fidelity to say, I want to reallocate 1% of my retirement fund into Bitcoin.
Right. You're emphasizing the point I'm making is that the decentralization component is not efficient enough, but you add a layer.
Oh no, I'm actually contradicting you.
Wow.
So the decentralization works perfectly, right?
It works perfectly
because there's a hypothecation of assets and there's a user interface built on top of it that makes it easy, right? So when you use
wait, let's take that back. There's not a 2009 there was not an easy user interface. You had to download the software.
Of course not.
You wouldn't know.
In any case, you had to download a software, and only God knows what you had to do within that software to get your CPU first, and then the GPU, and now Bitcoin machines that are specifically for mining. So I don't think that's an easy experience at all, and I don't think that's efficient.
But we're not in 2009 anymore.
I know, but that's still my point, though, is that until the centralized component was introduced, the decentralized component was still very difficult to understand and to access.
So what have I said when we've brought this discussion up, like at least a dozen times on this and the other shows that we're on together, is that there's the user base that needs to be close to the wire and understand decentralization.
Yep.
And then there's the user base that doesn't need to know that.
I don't disagree, but then
There's the engineer that needs to know how the power plant works and how to wire a house and how to connect the wires to the transformer down on the end of the block. And then there's the user that just needs to know how to flip on a light switch.
so you just proved my point. Without that engineer, me as a user, I'll never be able to flip my light switch.
So
I agree. That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
We agree with you, Mark, but
Oh,
Hopkins. But when is that gonna happen?
when is it's happened?
okay. Hold
Did
on,
you not
hold on,
see the
hold on.
ETFs that launched today?
Hold on,
Okay,
hold on.
yes.
I think we're talking about two different things. Okay, let's. The actual like blockchain of Bitcoin is decentralized and it is super efficient. However, the average person is not like gonna be able to access that.
Well,
But
I
they
think with
can. They do today
but-
with the
but
ETFs.
They can, and some do. Some do. The ones who do are the ones who really know their shit, though.
with Bitcoin, it's a whole other
really
issue.
like
Like
this one.
people can go to Cash App and fucking use it if they want to, if they know about it. That's the whole thing, though. Is with Bitcoin, there's an optics issue. We've talked about this. We're talking about decentralized AI and the UI involved there.
So I'm leading you both down
You're gonna murder us
a
right now?
stepping stone. No, I'm trying to make a point, right?
Yeah.
People who are reallocating part of their retirement fund into a Bitcoin ETF don't need to know anything about how a blockchain works, and they're directly using Bitcoin because it requires a hypothecated settlement. It's a
Okay.
derivative instrument.
I mean, you're right.
Okay, so it's the same thing with decentralized AI. Right now, this is where we were talking about earlier today on the
Wait, but before we even go to decentralized AI, like what you're saying is so contradicting because in order for the person to get to the decentralized component, which is Bitcoin, they have to go through the centralized entity.
okay, so you don't have to go build a coal power plant to turn on your light switch. You just have to flip a light switch. This is what I'm talking about. And there is a direct hypothecation of assets. So every dollar that you spend on a ETF that is
Mhm.
centralized, a decentralized real asset must exist in the back end.
But I don't actually hold that asset.
No, you don't
I-
hold that.
I hold a note that
And
says
you didn't build the power plant just to turn on your light switch.
I mean, well, the light switch again is centralized. This is exactly my point. Is
No,
that,
what are you talking about? The light switch is centralized.
yes, because there's an electrical grid, and in Texas, there's an independent one called ERCOT, and it's
But-
managed by a central entity. Is that not true?
No, it's not true at all. It's not true at all.
You're telling me ERCOT does not run the electrical grid of
ERCOT
Texas?
ERCOT is just a coordination layer. It's like the nodes for the Bitcoin network. They're not a company.
They're not.
They're not.
like
They're
a
not. They're
trade
not the company that
association,
owns.
basically.
They're not the company that owns the generation.
Who owns the generation? Different
Different-
Encore. Well,
No,
they're-
Encore is delivery.
right.
So Encore is
Generations like the power the
So different power companies own it,
Right.
right? I love this conversation right now.
so. But so with decentralized AI,
Yeah.
what Morpheus is trying to do
Okay.
is build a Bitcoin-like network for compute resources, so that individuals and entities and coalitions of organizations can build out their own essentially hardware solutions that power a larger AI network, rather than it being all owned by a company like OpenAI or Google or Meta or some other thing.
Yeah.
The end user interface right now is very much like the Bitcoin QT wallet that existed in 2009, where it's all in one single interface.
Yeah.
But the goal of building this protocol is that's only a reference protocol, and that you may go to Morpheus GPT or Mark GPT
Yeah.
or any other number of websites that just utilize that decentralized network for compute.
Mm.
And you don't need to know how decentralization even works.
we're looking at probably 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months, a year, maybe or so, and this network is going to start showing up, powering products like ChatGPT.
Yeah.
The UX may or may not be as good as the one that exists, and the results may or may not be as good as the one that
Right. So
exists.
that's exactly my point, though. That's exactly my point. I'm not saying it can't work, and it clearly works. But my point is exactly what you just said. It's not as efficient, and it's not as effective. And as a user, I don't give two shits. Like you said, I don't care how my light switch works. I want the best possible light switch that's the easiest switch in the world.
So have you used Meta's GPT product, or have you used Google's?
No, I've used Google's. It's dog shit.
Have you used Grok?
Grok is literally the worst AI I've ever interacted with. Like, I've used it a couple times after that. I paid more to use it, and I was so disappointed.
These are lightly modified versions of the models that are basically in place for open source. They're all based off of the same code base.
Source,
Llama.
Yeah. Who made Llama?
Llama is the standard for running all the different models, the open source standard.
Like the internet protocol, like that kind
it's
of.
kind of like think of it like the browser for a variety of different web pages.
And who like hosts that browser? Or no one?
You run it on a Raspberry Pi if you want.
Wow.
But the models the models that you install into Llama.
Yeah.
There's like 50, I think there's like 68 different models that exist for a variety of different specialties.
Mm-hmm.
And those all live different places.
No, they don't. They're files that you can download.
Oh,
but they're files that you can download that you can install into Llama that they used vast amounts of computing resources to train.
Mm.
Right. So they're trained on different data sets for lots of different purposes. So you've got some like the one that Meta uses, or the one that Meta like is best known for, and it's better than ChatGPT for the purpose that it's meant for, is their coding model. Outperforms ChatGPT for out of the box, no extra specialization.
Wait, which one is this?
I can't remember what it's called. I think it's just Meta's Code Llama.
How do you even use it though?
You install
AI?
Llama. You download the model from Facebook or from Meta, and you throw it in there.
So
and it basically gives you like a chat interface to much like what you have for ChatGPT.
So you have to download like Llama.
Yeah, Code Llama. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, Mark, let's walk through this, and I want you to break this down like as dumb as possible, because like this is this type of stuff where I'm not technical enough to understand that. So if I'm not technical enough to understand it, then how does the average person?
Because these are underlying products that nerds that are experimenting use.
Right. And if I'm not a nerd but I want to use it, what does it take?
So if you're not a nerd, is somebody that's a dev that wants to build a service is probably going to use a combination of these models. And unless decentralized compute exists for that, they're going to have to build out their own data center to run these models. And they'll build a nice, pretty UX on the top of it. You plug your credit card in. You don't have to worry about it.
That's, you're saying, the decentralized AI model.
Yes.
Instead of
much like the ETF, they're building their own business on top of this decentralized protocol.
Yeah. Interesting. I could buy into that. I could totally buy into that.
Right.
My eyes are hurting from all these lights. Getting nervous around you, Mark.
Uh-oh. No, so this is where I'm see the stepping stones from there. Like 100%. So as the Bitcoin ETFs are to the Bitcoin network, Morpheus could be to a decentralized AI landscape. Some services will be better than others. It's all about the implementation.
Yeah.
The compute is fungible.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's interesting. I mean, obviously it works, and obviously it's there. And I mean, we'll see with time. Obviously, each year all this stuff improves, and I totally believe in this stuff. I think it just is going to take time. And the reason I thought this was such a historical moment is not because these institutions are getting involved, but now because all these things we're discussing can actually have the resources necessary to make it as good as anything else, you know?
Right. Well, so with this, I think having a 24-hour period to kind of settle down and see this and have a way, think about how to explain it to normies. What makes the ETF thing so special and why I think is a good parallel to be drawn between that and decentralized AI is that it shows that traditional financial rails can be built upon truly open source, truly decentralized technology, and it can work for the benefit of all.
Wow. Say that one more time. That was powerful.
Okay. So you can have traditional finance built upon truly open source, truly decentralized rails and have it work for the benefit of all.
Wow.
Right. If you feel like you want to take the risk to work in the Wild West and deal directly with your hands on the rails of open source decentralized technology, that code exists.
Yeah.
If you would rather trust a financial advisor to take care of all of your money for you, now those rails exist as well.
Yeah.
And it's the same exact thing. Just different horses for different courses.
Yeah. Wow. That's really cool.
It's a new world.
It's a new world. It's an exciting world.
This whole debate just it's autocratic structure versus democratic structure in real time, and seeing Shut versus Dr. Bitcoin's philosophical underpinnings, come through in the arguments. Amazing.
This is a legendary show right here.
It's the most acrimonious agreement we've had so far.
Yeah. I mean, I love having these discussions with you. I feel like you can articulate it well, and I have enough knowledge to say fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've missed our discussions.
Right? They're great.
Because I
wonder you were so pushy to have the show today.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the round table with Jim and Frank, but like there's only so far I can go on the technical side with them.
I know. And honestly, like even with me too, like there's definitely a cap to my technical knowledge. However, I really do enjoy like dissecting it and breaking it down. And honestly, that's what got me into crypto. And I was literally just thinking this as you were talking. It's like the llama thing I didn't really understand, but like just like when I got into crypto, I didn't really understand it. And all I did to understand like what a blockchain is, how it's decentralized, how does it work, all these things, I literally just spent my evenings reading, like just going on the internet, reading 1,000 times over like what it was, how it worked, until I understood it. And I don't know, I made an interesting connection. This is totally a tangent, but I made an interesting connection to a lot of the technical stuff you were talking about that I may not understand, that all it takes is going home tonight and spending the rest of my evening reading about it. And surely I'll come out of it with probably more questions than answers, but I will know that much more.
So it's interesting. Whenever we talk about AI stuff long enough, whenever I talk about AI stuff long enough with somebody, I get one of two reactions depending on how old they are.
Yeah.
Old people my age or older will say, this is like when I discovered Google.
Yeah.
People your age will say, it's like when I discovered crypto.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely like, man, I wish people just like spent more time learning, including myself, because that's all I did for crypto. And like thinking back now to how much knowledge I have, it's all because I just spent those first couple of whatever weeks, hours learning, and now it's enabled me to like understand such a vast ecosystem where there are new things being created in crypto every day. And I don't have to relearn everything because I know the fundamentals. And I think that's everything about the internet is this, like that works the same way is people, exactly to your point. I don't know how the light switch works. I just click it up and down. And I think that's the same thing when we talk about anything technology, whether it's crypto, AI, or even the fucking internet that we have now. I don't know how that works. I know more about crypto than how the internet works now. So right. I love these discussions is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah. Magnets.
How do they work? Sure. No, we have good discussions.
Yeah, it's good times.
So most light switches are, I would say, binary devices, meaning they have two positions on or off. When in the on position, they allow electricity to flow, and in the off position, they interrupt the flow of electricity.
Wow, I honestly never knew that.
Thank you, ChatGPT.
Whoa! What
did you just ChatGPT like how to express that easily, or just
no
off the dome?
I do know there are.
Can I see your facial expression?
There are several types of switches that
look at him really
single pole switches. The most common in homes. And then three-way switches allowing the control of a single light from two different locations.
Now you're just talking like you're the AI. What else? Was there anything else we didn't cover?
I mean, that's it. That's all that was on my punch list.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a pretty mono news cycle.
Yeah.
So
which is like crazy to think. Like it was like one big news thing, and now everybody's kind of quiet and like waiting to see what happens. And I do want to give a special shout out to Coinbase. I have recently like just started loving them. I don't know why. And I know there's definitely some sneaky business going on under there, because just like Sam Altman, you can't when it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Oh,
but
speaking of Coinbase, I'll let you finish. But the Circle thing was connected to Coinbase.
Yes, we could talk about that. But all I was going to say is like, I've just been impressed as how they've led the market and how they've kind of stepped up to facilitate everything within crypto. I mean, they have went through so many challenges and you know, Binance is the biggest exchange in the world, just because I think people overseas use Binance, and primarily Coinbase is always focused within the United States, which is fine. But, you know, it's just impressive to see the amount of progress that's been made through crypto. And like right now, Coinbase is really leading the way, and props to them for helping the industry and helping the average American get access to crypto.
Yeah, I mean, like
bootlicker over here.
Hey,
it's like what we were saying yesterday when we did our little ad hoc broadcast. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Brian and I both came from the same world,
Yeah.
the same market,
Yeah.
really. And he went one way and I went another.
yeah,
And we both probably have reached the logical conclusion to both of our career paths,
yeah,
which is fine, you know.
yeah,
But what he's done within the confines of regulatory compliance has been pretty stellar.
crazy.
It's noteworthy. I do, to your point of what may be underhanded or shady or behind the scenes, is there's clearly been some lobbying done with some of the crypto friendly senators and reps, where I think that was part of what happened with CZ, what still is happening to CZ.
Yeah,
Because when Loomis came out back in early October, late September,
yeah,
with her statements against Tether and Binance, which culminated in federal charges being
Yeah.
brought against CZ.
yeah,
I think that has to do with, you know, circling the wagons around American crypto companies.
for sure. And not to say, like, there's definitely some sketchy stuff I found out today about Coinbase, where apparently they have acquired a company that is basically a hedge fund, but they named the company Coinbase Asset Management, and it seems very similar to the FTX Alameda situation, where FTX was the exchange, Alameda was the hedge fund. They were in bed together. I'm suspecting, based off what I was told today, which was very brief, there could be some sort of, you know, exchange hedge fund mingling in the sheets. And if that happens, I will definitely take back my statements on Coinbase. But until then, we pray that they don't do that.
How credible were, I mean, like,
Very credible. Well, it doesn't matter because it's public information. Like, we know what Coinbase Asset Management
right.
is.
So credible. When I'm asking, because you know what the conversations were that you've had, and I'm just first time hearing of it. So my first thoughts whenever I was in Beaumont when I heard the news about Alameda FTX.
Yeah.
So I was on a time delay, and all I knew was that Sam was a blowhard on Twitter, and he was loosely involved with Alameda. It was beggared my belief to think that he might have some sort of commingling of funds.
Yeah.
So are the allegations that you're hearing is that there is commingling of funds going on, or is it just they have interest in a hedge fund?
I was not told that there was a specific allegation. I was told that it is a coincidence, an interesting coincidence, that they have done what they have done, aka Coinbase doing the hedge fund with the exchange.
Because a hedge fund is not a hedge fund is a big umbrella term
For sure.
for a lot of things.
For sure. And the question that remains, which I don't have the answer to, and hopefully we'll find out eventually, is something suspicious going on within Coinbase that we're not sure about?
Right. Well, I mean, so this is the type of thing that will come out. I mean, I know Circle's a different company. Jeremy Allaire is a different CEO,
Yep.
but they're pretty deeply in bed with Coinbase.
Yeah.
I think Coinbase is one of the biggest stakers or funders, or I know they're a board member or something. There's a commingling there.
Coinbase is just in bed with everybody, it seems like, nowadays. That's the part that scares me. It's like, when something is too good to be true like that, it has to be. I mean, they are the custodian for 8 out of 11 ETFs. It's probably not the best thing for the average Joe like me, but
Now, when you asked me if I was concerned about centralization, that's the centralization I'm concerned about.
is the custodianship?
Is the custodianship.
How come?
Well, because you're talking about a central point of failure.
Yeah,
For
sure. Because if Coinbase fails, then 8 of the 11 ETFs are going to get fucked one way or
That's
another.
crazy.
Wrong
Yeah.
cameras, G.
yeah, but that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Like, so think about like exchange hacks that have happened in the past. Think about every major loss that has happened in crypto.
Yeah.
That's over $100 million has been an exchange hack.
I mean, I do not doubt the fact that in the next 3 years, within the next 12 to 36 months, we will see some sort of, hopefully not as bad FTX event, but like there has to be something. This industry is nowhere close to being established and fully matured and fully developed. So I suspect something will happen. If the SEC Twitter account can get fucking hacked the day before the ETFs are going to be approved, something much worse will happen in this timeline.
Elon Musk's safety department said that there was an outside intrusion. So I think I'll lose that $5 bet that I said to somebody yesterday that I was like, it was an intern that hit enter too quick or something.
Yeah, no, it was totally, Twitter said it's not on Twitter. And obviously they're going to say that.
Of course, yeah.
I suspect that's probably the case. I suspect there was for sure there was manipulation. Like there's also a theory that they had like scheduled the post, but then it went too early. I mean, it's all fucking bullshit. We know Gary Gensler's pumping his bags and fucking crypto over.
So
I'm super vile on these talks. I need to chill out a little bit, become more PG friendly. It's just I have to be like official all day, and then I come in here and I'm just like ready to go.
The next micro that
he hit me with the name tag. Yeah, that's me.
The next micro that comes out is just going to be one solid bleep.
Yeah, one solid technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, per usual, Mark and Mark show has always been a success, and this was another one of those. And Team Mark for sure. Team which Mark or both. But you know, happy we did this, and there's going to be a lot of developments next week. I suspect we will see, but I suspect that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Indeed.
Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching The Merge. We've got a ton more stuff for you to watch on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, everywhere. Check us out.